Here we are, back again. The final group of pickups from days gone by that I was too lazy to make a video at the time, but I'm making it now. So these did not get picked up today, but they were picked up fairly recently. And this group of what I'm about to show you was in the same singular day, this little group of things. So this is kind of the final one of those of catching up on making pickup videos of my hauls from recent times. So here we go. And again, I don't remember fully what I got. It's just still in my truck from when I got it. And it's been long enough that I don't remember. So I'm kind of going to discover it with you as I go along here. And we'll see how past Alex did on finding deals and such. I don't want to start with that one because that's a weird one to start with. But let's see what we got in here. I don't think this is as big of a one, so this might be a quicker video. So I got, this is super cool and weird and dusty. Ooh, that's truly a lot of dust. So a classic movie. Apparently I paid 50 cents for it. Very happy about that. And it is a Alfred Hitchcock movie, which when you see it, get it, because it's going to be good. It's going to be at least fun. So it's Vertigo, which I did not have. And for some reason, I have such a hard time finding this movie. And the funny thing was, all in kind of one small span of time, I got it on DVD and VHS. Because I remember shortly before this, getting this on DVD and being like, oh, finally, I found Vertigo. And then right after, it was like, oh, again. So when it rains, it pours. You find the thing you're looking for 7 times when you finally do find it. But I've never seen Vertigo. I've always wanted to see it. And, you know, love Hitchcock stuff. Obviously, things like Psycho and Birds and stuff like that. You just have to see it. So really glad to have that. And actually, really quick, besides this being kind of a dirty VHS tape, I'm sorry. I have to clean it, and I have to figure out how to clean it without hurting it because it's kind of. I attempted once before, and I could tell I was about to start messing up artwork, so I stopped quickly. But it has got some weird dustiness to it. But this has it's like a special edition VHS. It is the widescreen edition, which is fancy, I guess, for VHS tapes. But there's this like sleeve open thing that has some more art, and there's sort of a funny way they attach this. They sort of glue slash stapled it to the case, and that it's like a booklet of all this information and things about the film and artwork and stuff, and it's like a full little tiny book of stuff about Vertigo. So that's kind of weird and cool for a VHS tape to have. You don't see that every day. So, but that's definitely such iconic artwork and stuff like that. That's probably going to be with something I've forward-faced display with my VHS stuff. So let me see what I got here. I don't think I have actually all that much more, but they're cool things. I will go ahead and show you the weird thing first so that I can kind of end on the higher note. What volume is... Oh, I didn't realize I got this. This is cool. Wow. Okay, sorry. I'm re-experiencing my finds. So, this was super impulsive buy, but I'm a sucker for something that sounds interesting book-wise. That is I guess you call it a hardcover, hardback, whatever the terminology is. Especially for something iconic or interesting that has cool artwork, has interesting subject matter, whatever it is. Even if I never got around to reading this, super cool that I have it. It's an old Nancy Drew book of like the original ones, basically. And like I said, it's like a hardcover. Super nice. They had a few, but I picked up this one because A, it was cheap. B, it's called The Ringmaster's Secret. So it takes place at a circus, and there's a lurking man staring at the ladies. And it just caught my attention. I was just like, you know what? I just kept staring at this going like, oh, that's neat. And then looking more at it and being like, it's just so neat. Oh, you know what? I'm going to buy this. I don't need it, and I'm not looking for this, but it's cool. And I'm just going to get it because it's cool, okay? So don't judge me. I got a Nancy Drew book. Neat. Whatever. Anyways, the final thing from this haul Oh, wait, I do have another haul thing. Maybe I'll just combine it because these were both small. So you get a 2-for-1 deal, and this other one wasn't from Half Price Books. This one was. I thought the last one was the half price, the last Half Price Books group of things, but this was one more. Another essential type thing, but DC kind of got wise to what Marvel was doing with the essential comics, did their own version of that. I don't know if they all are called Showcase Presents, but it's just one of those things where, hey, that looks like an essential book. Oh, it's DC. It's DC's essential comics, But the same thing as the Spider-Man one that I showed in the previous video, where it's just a bunch of the early comics of a particular character, and this particular character is someone I've been interested in getting into for a long time. I've known about from afar, who would appear in like cartoons and things that I loved, and like we would kind of discuss the lore of this character without having direct experience with it, but kind of understanding the story. Shazam. Super cool looking. I want like straight up, I might dig into this tonight. I might just open this bad boy up and take a look because this is cool. Although I just caught a glimpse of there's a Batman one somewhere out in the world that I now have to track down. So that's happening. But just chock full of the early days of a character, and by early days, I mean in order comics from start to a particular number in here. I don't actually. The funny thing is, or the sad thing is, with DC, I don't know if they necessarily go in order from 1 to whatever, which is kind of missing the point of what these are. But with this, I don't know if I care. I think what they try and do is do like, basically, oh, these are the important issues starting off, or like the most famous or interesting or most beloved or whatever. But it's very, they don't always do the like, oh, this is 1 through 50 or something like that with DC. They'll be like, oh, this is issue 1, 7, 10, 15, and just jump around. Yeah, see, look, here's the list here. Let me just reveal the chaos that is DC. Even when it comes to their comic books, even when it's just reprinting old comic books. So here we go. This is how it jumps around, apparently, I think. So Shazam number 1. Then some weird things in between that aren't numbered for some reason. Again, why? And then number 2. And then 2 or 3 things in between. And then number 3. And it just like, there's a weird jumping around. And maybe I'm just reading this wrong. Like, they're like listing things in between and I'm just confused or whatever. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. But sometimes, I know for a fact, sometimes when DC does this, it's not always like the first comics in order or whatever. So just something to know if you're looking around at things and you go, ooh, I want to read the first X amount of issues of Batman. I see their version of an essential comic, number 1. I'm going to grab it and I'm going to go home and I'm going to read basically the origins of this character that I love, and then get home and go, things are jumping around and doing weird stuff and I'm enjoying it, but it's not what I thought it was. So just something to be aware of. I'm talking too much. Let's move on. So this was another one of those, ooh, look, I think I can pull over and get to that thrift store over there and not get stuck in my truck and be able to escape later. And, I have time and blah, blah, blah. All the stuff that keeps me from just stopping wherever I want to, whenever I want to, in my truck. The stars aligned and I was able to go to this cool little thrift store. And actually, I'm remembering when I got there. And actually, there was a board game that I got there as well. That was really cool. It was like a 70s, 80s board game. Really cool artwork. Really just bought it for that. I knew it wasn't really my kind of board game. But again, that's kind of one of those things where it's like, I could trade that to someone who does care. And then, for something that's more interesting to me. Or if no one cares, I think it looks cool and it's worth displaying maybe, or whatever. I'll figure out something to do with it. But that was here too, but that's gone. It was like Shadow Lord, I think. That may have been what it was. Milton Bradley game that's older. But at this thrift store, I found a genuine holy grail item for me that's maybe not in the form that other people would prefer it to be, but I almost like it better like this. It's kind of neat. But that's last. So here we have some books. I didn't realize I bought that one. That's weird. Um, they're just weird, interesting, cool kids' book things. So first off, which probably should go last because it's probably the cooler one, but whatever. I grabbed it. It's neat looking. Once again, Thundercats was not a show that I watched as a kid or was really aware of until I became an adult. I have never seen any of it. I've seen clips. The art is cool. The clips I saw were cool. I may or may not ever get around to it, but I know it's cool. And sometimes I get things because it's like, someone who loves this will receive this later in the future from me because I know they love it. Anyways, it's a kid's book of Thundercats, and just look at that artwork. That's just beautiful. You gotta love that. Like, I appreciate the hell out of that. The Invisible Castle. I don't know if these are based off episodes of the show, or this is just, let's write some books about Thundercats that is loosely related to the show of Thundercats. And kids who like Thundercats will buy our book. It could straight up be that. That's fine. Super cool little I know hardcover, but I don't remember the name for the books that are hardcover. Whatever. Next up. I know I've played this game a tiny bit at one point. I don't remember on what system or whatever because it came out on a few, I believe. But I don't fully understand what this is. I feel like this is like the novelization of what happens in the game or something, but it's Gex. And I needed this for some reason. Video game tie-in book thing looks like. I don't know. It was cheap and weird, and I like weird things. This is another thing. I believe this is like there was a cartoon of this at one point. Oh, it's like a comic. Okay, maybe I'll read that at some point. But Muppets was not like something I was super crazy about as a kid, but I had watched stuff, and it was good. What I did see, what little of it I did see, but there's some kind of Muppets comic strip thing with a tiny Gonzo on it. Again, just neat impulse buy of a book thing. But I really like this next item. But what's sad about this is here and there, not a whole lot, but here and there, it's an activity book for a film that someone's done a couple of the things in, but not like enough that it's like, oh, this thing has just been destroyed by some kid on a car trip going somewhere with some crayons. There's a little bit of that going on. But it's a Ghostbusters 2 puzzle and mazes book. And again, it will look cool on my shelf. Don't judge me. I do love Ghostbusters, though. I've seen Ghostbusters my whole life. There's one. I've seen that movie. I'm not lying. I saw it. Anyways, this next item I have been looking for years. I've seen it around, but I refuse to pay the prices for it. I used to find PS2, GameCube, Xbox era games constantly for nothing. I would pay a couple bucks for a giant box full of just the dream games to have for those systems. And I'm like, one day I will find this game for $1 or a quarter or whatever. I refuse to pay this $30, $40 that everybody wants me to pay for this because I have every other awesome title for the GameCube or whatever that there is that I definitely didn't pay more than $1 or $2 for each. And I'm like, I just need to find, it's just this one that I want that I just could not find no matter what. And I get that it's like a little bit off the beaten path for Nintendo fans, even Nintendo fans who like Zelda. But this Zelda game, I want it because it's cool and it's weird. It's the multiplayer Zelda on the GameCube. Zelda Four Swords Adventure. Now, you may notice that this is, I don't know if it's not the original cover or if they genuinely had like rental copies that you could get that were cheaper or something for companies. But this is a rental copy of Zelda Four Swords. I don't know how you fully took advantage of this game or even really played ever multiplayer renting it, because you needed some hardware that came with it, as well as having your own Game Boy Advance to play the multiplayer part of this. You needed Game Boy Advance. You needed a Game Boy Advance link cable, not link cable. I'm sorry, GameCube Game Boy Advance link cable. I don't know what it's called. It might say it on here. No, but it would connect your Game Boy Advance to your GameCube as if it were a controller, and then you have this game and you're playing multiplayer. And when your character would leave the screen, they would enter the screen on your Game Boy Advance, so you could be kind of off doing your own thing and be working on a puzzle from different angles and different places to all achieve the group goal. And the concept of that just blew my mind, and it's very much in the style of like A Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, older Zelda, but like really polished older Zelda on the GameCube, which GameCube's a great system, and it's multiplayer. I am a sucker for multiplayer. You stick multiplayer in a lawn mowing simulator, and I'm gonna buy that thing, because sometimes you just gotta mow the lawn with friends. I don't know why I have this problem, but I do. And I was not the huge words Zelda nerd as a kid or whatever, but when I saw this, I was just like, oh, I must have it. And I finally have it. I've talked too much about this. I'm sorry. But anyway, so it's my dream to have gotten this game, to get, and I have a bunch of the cables, and before I sold my collection, I had enough Game Boys to do it and all that kind of stuff. So that's why it was so irking me to not have this game when I had my big collection, because I could have gotten all the people together and done it to make a genuine Four Swords adventure happen, and I wanted to so bad, but I kept the cords because those are annoying to find, and now I have the game. So when I have a GameCube again, which I will, I can finally have my Four Swords adventure with some friends and family. So I'm super excited about that. And I think the books I paid like $0.25 a piece for. I think the board game I paid like $2 for, something like that. And for Zelda Four Swords, finally, I paid $1.50 for it. And it's a neat looking rental copy from Movie Gallery. We didn't have those. Oh no, I'm a liar. Okay, so this is okay. I'm discovering the tale of the past of this game in front of you right now. Printed into the label is Hollywood Video. Loved Hollywood Video as a kid. I would honestly, if as a kid, if you gave me a choice between our Blockbuster or mom pop place or Hollywood Video, I would choose Hollywood Video to go rent stuff at as a kid, because they just had everything. Like, to me, I could walk in there and go, I feel like watching The Wizard of Oz, and they'd be like, aisle 5 on the left, blah, blah, blah. I feel like watching Mary Poppins, like just any classic movie that a kid would give a crap about, or anything. I feel like that was the ace in the hole for when you're trying to find, when you're itching for a specific thing. Hollywood Video had you. And I think they were a little more expensive, so that's probably why we didn't go that much. But I loved Hollywood Video. Anyways, so this label and case was printed for Hollywood Video. Okay? On the front, it says Movie Gallery, which is a company that sort of the Dollar General of movie stuff. I think they were a rental company as well. So it looks like this was made for Hollywood Video, somehow wound up as like a used copy just for sale of at Movie Gallery. And it's funny because the sticker's still on there from when it did cost $30-something, and art didn't have to pay that much. It's funny because I think the movie galleries are out of business now, and it's been a little while now since they have been, and that just goes to show you how much this game costs, because it was $35 when they were in business, and it's been a minute, and prices have gone up. So I'm positive that's worth even more now. But, you know, a normal place wouldn't necessarily want the rental copy, and I like that about this one. I think it looks cool. Anyways, I'm talking too much. I was super excited about that. So this has been my kind of two combined into one, not that big of hauls, but really cool hauls. And this definitely, I think, let me double check. Yes, this concludes my past pickups, kind of catch-up videos of forgetting to do the video the day of and waiting till way, way later to finally make it. So I hope you guys enjoyed kind of going on this little, pickup recap with me, and that, maybe I've inspired some people to go and find these deals for yourselves. I did pretty good on, as far as price, on most of this stuff. Certainly compared to what it's worth if you were to buy it individually on things like eBay. The half-price book stuff is less so the greater deals, but you will find lots of cool stuff in one go at a half-price books. A lot of times, like, somebody drops off a collection, or it just so happens to be that 5 or 6 people come in there with a couple things apiece. So their section of Laserdisc stuff is just a big, massive pile of things to go through. And it really depends on the day. Like, there could be some grandma who works back there who's just like, $5, $5, $5, and just smacking it on everything, and you get a great deal. And then there's days where you get the crazy grandma back there who's like $20, $20, $20, $20 on everything. And you're like, oh, I really want this, but I don't want to pay $20 for one thing. So it's very hit or miss with half-price books as far as prices go. But you're going to find cool things. So when I make a trip to half-price books, I know what I'm getting into. I know I'm probably going to drop $40, $50, but I'm going to get some cool stuff. As far as the thrift store stuff, like Goodwill and the mom and pop place that I found that I just went over, those are the places where it's like, I'm going to pay $1, I'm going to pay 50 cents for anything cool that I find, because I'm the only weirdo around here looking for that stuff, and they're just looking to get rid of it. And I love those kind of places. And that's usually what the kind of places I go to, and I would suggest others go to. Anyways, this video has gone on too long already. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time.